All right, beautiful. So like I said, today's going to be similar, but a little bit more focused on the actual movement side of things. We're going to go through our breath cycles to get you guys kind of set in the right positions for your pelvis and your shoulders primarily. Then we're going to start to work on the spine, the spinal rotisserie that you see here. We'll go through all of the CARs, the primary CARs, neck, wrist, and hip. Wrist is not primary, but we're going to go through those in order to make our next portion more advantageous, which is going to be this EMOM. You can see it says 15, that's 15 minutes, that's 3 rounds, it's 5 exercises, okay? And don't worry, we're not crushing anything today. It's all about recovery. 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest or transition, okay? We'll start with scorpions, opening up the chest and the shoulders. We'll go to dead bugs. You guys can work as aggressively or easily as you prefer, as you desire. Then we're going into inchworms with a reach. This is kind of a hybrid breathing exercise. I would encourage you to focus on the breathing in this. We'll hold a horse stance. We'll go through a very slow pulse. And then I don't know why that shifted over, but we'll go knees over toes lunge. And you can see this is the nastiest tempo I've ever prescribed, 9, 5, 1, 1. We're only doing 1 per side, okay? But I'm having you move down for 9 seconds so that you can really access some good position. You're gonna hang in there for 5 and then come out of it. The coming out of it, just come out of it as you can control it. If some of you guys need to go slower because you've gone so deep, totally fine. But we're just doing 1 on 1, 1 on the other, okay? It's not bad, I promise. Then we'll move into our yin. Today we are gonna have time for this. Lizard, puppy, and pigeon positions, okay? Puppy is gonna be, Kev, that big opening of the torso. So that's gonna be one you're gonna have to just really slowly enter into. Okay, any questions? And then we'll get right into it. Sweet. Jeff?
Does anybody just want to yell out, I do not have time for this. I do not have time for you every time you say something?
Every time you what?
Like, have you guys not watched Inventing Anna yet?
No.
No.
I do not have time for this. I do not have time for you.
As soon as you said it, I knew the reference. I was cracking up.
It is amazing. I was watching it like 2 seconds before we joined, and it's like.
Who are you saying you don't have time for? Me?
You crazy shit.
Hey, you know that this isn't my time, right? It's all your time. So if you say I don't have time for this or you're speaking to a mirror. Okay, let's get the pelvis set in the right position. Hook, lying, hamstring bridge. This is the classic breath one that we've been doing in that glute bridge position. If you have a foam roller or a pillow or something about this size, grab it. It's just gonna help put your femurs in the right position. It's not imperative. So anyone watching on recording, you don't have to have it, but it helps, okay? The song is pretty aggressive for what we're about to do. Can't change it from here. Oh well, I tried. So you're getting into a glute bridge position, okay? Foam rollers going between the thighs. What we're gonna do first is just make sure we remember how to go through this breath nice and easy. If you guys are in an actual relaxed, normal position, then you should have a small gap in the low back. So the tailbone's touching, the upper back is touching, but you could get a hand between the floor and your low back, okay? Touch your belly here, make sure your abs are soft, super relaxed. We're not engaging anything. And just go through 2 breath cycles here, trying to figure this out, maybe 3, where we are pretending there's a mirror right in front of our mouth. We're gonna fog it up very slowly. We're gonna hold that for a moment, make sure we have the internal oblique, the side abs on. Tongue on the roof of the mouth as we inhale through the nose, nice and slow. Again, fogging the mirror. Soft 6-pack muscles, but strong in the side abs. Those will naturally kick on if you're fogging the mirror. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. And a big inhale slowly, okay? You guys can keep going through that. Focus on those points of performance for the breath. It's really important because by doing that, you're firing the right muscles and getting into the right position. What you're gonna do from here is think about gently pushing down and pulling your heels or your feet up towards your butt down towards your heels. And what this should do is pull your pelvis into a posterior, very slightly tilt, okay? What you're looking for is a little hamstring engagement. And if you can find the hamstring sensation, closer to your butt rather than your knee, that's going to be even better. Okay, we're gently pulling that pelvis under. I want you to imagine your entire back is Velcroed to the floor, and as if you're just grabbing the tailbone end of your torso and very slowly peeling off that Velcro to lift your tailbone, find that deeper tuck, and then continue the breath. If everyone understands where we're at currently, give me a thumbs up. Good, everyone feels like we're in the right position. Okay, now that tuck is not a glute bridge, it's just a hamstring engagement to pull the pelvis into the right position. Six-pack muscles are soft, make sure, recheck them every once in a while, because the primary focus is, can I engage my hamstrings without my six-pack muscles? Can I keep my internal oblique on? That's the side abs, okay? Go through the breath. If you know you've got the right positions, let's go ahead and turn our palms to the ceiling, open hands, and reach up about knee height. Just about knee height. So your femurs and your arms are kind of pointing in the same diagonal direction. Yeah, perfect, Kev. Breathing, nice and easy. Palms are up towards the ceiling as best we can. 3 full cycles of this inhale and exhale. The slower you go, the better. The more relaxed you are, the better. However, feeling that hamstring engagement is totally great. Right? That should start getting a little Bernie Sanders. That might be a little old of a reference, huh? 3 breath cycles. All right, you guys are vets. I know you guys are doing this well. Go ahead and relax after those 3 cycles. Let's move up to the wall. We'll get the shoulders open with this Naruto head slam. Foam roller is gonna stay between the thighs. You guys are gonna do the exact same breath, However, this time, we're focused on getting a better shoulder extension. So if we think about the humerus, this upper arm bone, okay? We're trying to get it further back behind our torso in this position. So head is going to rest on the wall. And this is just a gentle resting on the wall so that I'm not using my neck muscles to support my heavy head. The wall is supporting me. I'm in a hinge as if I'm doing like a deadlift. And then I'm palms to the ceiling, thumbs pointing towards each other, up as high as I can, naturally, without forcing any muscular driven strategy. And then I'm just breathing, same exact breath. Fogging the mirror, getting the obliques on. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, creating some expansion on that inhale. Five full cycles here.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.
You guys should find that on those inhales, your arms are reaching higher and higher. That shoulder is opening up. The elbows must stay locked. Okay, so Jeff, if your arms can't go that high, that's fine. Just keep the elbows locked and start a little lower. Good. Chest is opening up, allowing for your arms to reach higher. Nothing is too aggressive here. Jeff, see on the inhales if you can start to bring those hands higher. Make yourself a little more relaxed. Not so deep into it, a little higher with your torso. Just rest your head on the wall, heavy on the wall. When you inhale, you're thinking about all the muscles around your chest and shoulder in the front, expanding, lengthening, opening up. Keep reaching those palms. Every inhale, they should go higher. Naturally, it should be easy. Jeff, try to go a little taller with your torso so you're not so hinged over. Get a little closer to the wall. Yeah. And then, okay, good. Awesome. 5 full cycles, then you guys can relax. Okay. So just for a quick moment, Jeff, let's troubleshoot you. Are you feeling any ease or opening in this position? Not at all. Okay, cool. So let's go through this really quick because I think this is a really important one, especially for you. We got to open up that chest wall. Okay, so I'm gonna just take you through this specifically. Let's go. Will you unmute yourself so I can chat with you? Let's go back to position. Okay. Grab the foam roller, stick it between the thighs. And just go to like a 45-degree angle, not so deep into your hinge. Bend your knees a little bit, relax, get soft. Good, okay. Go a little deeper than that. Yep. The wall should feel like it's just holding your head, okay? Cool. Lock out your arms as they are, down towards the ground. Okay, good. And then very slowly, keep that locked arm and start to raise it into as much extension as you can. Naturally, just go ahead to that wall. There, pause. All right. Keep those wrists nice and straight and just focus on the upper arm. The lower arm is just an extension of, right? We don't really care what effort we're trying to make. All right, so in this position, the fact that your palms are up like that is telling me you're trying to work hard to keep your hands higher because you think they should be higher. Relax that. Make that, yes, exactly, good. We're thinking about the upper arm only. Where is that pointing? And obviously if it's restricted that low, who cares? That's fine, let's respect it. Now, let's focus on the breathing, okay? Very slow, count to 8 if you can, with that audible, fogging exhale. Until you feel your stomach start to shrink and get small. There, your arms are lowering naturally, that's good. Now we're finding where we're really at. Then tongue on the roof, close your mouth, inhale through the nose. And see if you can just gently bring those hands up a little higher, that whole position a little higher, just a little. Good, keep them there. It shouldn't feel like work, it should feel easy. Go again through the breath. So for those of you watching this, and of course, Kevin, Chris, less is more, right? When Jeff was trying to reach further, he was just muscularly driving the whole thing. I'm just trying to get to a nice, easy position and then see, oh, expansion, it's getting better, right? Less is more, is my point. Jeff, see if you can go a little bit more in that. See if we've expanded. That's better. That's much better. Go through the cycle again. Audible exhale, getting small and tight in the core. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Close the mouth. Slow, easy. Inhale through the nose. See if we can reach higher on that inhale. All right, good. Relax. Okay, sweet. So I could see that was getting better. Did you feel improvement on that one?
Yeah. I mean,
okay, good.
It wasn't a ton. I still felt like I was working pretty hard, but
totally. Yeah, to a certain extent, it's just going to be hard work because you're actually holding your arms. But there's a difference between you being like, okay, there's my limitation, there's my wall, versus being like, I can really crank this. You don't want that. Okay, awesome. And then our last one, arrested twist. We'll do 3 per side. Okay, so just have a seat. We haven't done this one yet, but it's very easy. It's hard to mess up. Watch me first, and then we'll go through it. I'm actually just going to stay seated here, but if you guys are seated on the floor, just go like cross-legged position, okay? What we're going to do is go hands behind the head, elbows pointed out, so arrested position, okay? You guys can just watch me first, and then I'll have you go through it. You're going to rotate as far as you can naturally. There's a lot that we can do to kind of like lean back or lean into to get more rotation. Try to stay as vertical as you can with your spine and really respect it. Less is more. Like, this is my natural wall. I can crank more, but I'm starting to like cramp up in my lat. It's not good, okay? So natural wall. Then I'm going to take my elbow position and my torso position and just laterally crunch. So left elbow down, right elbow up. I'm still staying tall through the torso. I'm just flexing sideways. Now from here, big breath into the rib cage. 2 more times. And then I'm going to reset and dun-da-da, I have more. Okay, every single one of you is going to get more range like this too. So let's do it together, okay? So hands behind the head. Honestly, less is more, okay? Just find your natural limitation. Rotate to one side, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever side you've rotated to, point that elbow down, point the opposite elbow up. So you're doing a lateral crunch. Find that weird space and breathe into it as much as you can 3 times. Big rib cage. Exhale nice and gently. Big open rib cage. Exhale. Make sure you're laterally crunched as far down as you can. And then undo the crunch and see how far you can rotate. So get out of the crunch, but stay over to that side, and then see how much more you can rotate to that side. Just 3 breaths in that position. Did it go pretty good, Chris? I just missed your rotation, but I saw your face.
Yes, it did. Wow.
Yeah, that's an awesome one, isn't it? Okay, beautiful. Other side, do it. Find your wall. I mean, you can work sort of hard in this one, right? Like, you could try a little bit. Kev, think about your spine, where your rib cage is, and crunch down into your rib cage. So yeah, more. So it's almost uncomfortable. So it's a total twist and lateral flexion. You're just like, oh, now breathe into that space 3 times. Try to crunch more, try to rotate more. Breathe. Big rib cage. You're getting all those little muscles in between your ribs expanded. Muscles in your muscles around your diaphragm, your core. Okay. Then undo it and rotate further. Nice, Chris. That was awesome. Good, Kev. Good. Everyone should have gotten at least 5, if not like 10, 15 degrees of more of rotation. Okay, beautiful. That's another amazing one. For shoulder position, we need rotation in the thorax. And for flexion, we need rotation. So without getting weird, that one will help a lot of other things. Okay. I teach all my golfers to do that before they golf. Whether they listen or not, I don't know. All right, neck cars. Let's go through it. We're just going to do 2 per side. Go very slow. Okay. I want you guys to just access all the corners through a full circle of the neck. Just try to keep your shoulders down. You guys know this. We're not getting too weird with it today. I'm just trying to open up and find every tissue possible through 2 to the left and then 2 to the right. Neck cars. If you're finding clicks, pops, or discomfort, stay for a little while longer. Hang out there. Just make it feel a little easier. Good. We did wrist cars last time. We'll do them again. Okay. You're going to take your right hand, just for congruency's sake. Let's all do the right hand first. If you're finishing up your cards, go ahead. You're going to turn palm facing up, and you're going to just stick your forearm onto your left hand like so. Okay. So I've got palm facing up. So number one thing here, there's a couple. I don't know what's number one. They're tied. We got to keep the bottom side of the forearm up, okay? I don't want any movement of the elbow or the shoulder to make any of this happen. So we're just staying right here. We're staying fixed, okay? That's the point of this hand. Once we have that established, we're gonna splay the fingers open as much as we can, as if to bend them backwards, like really open up your hand. Feel that stretch in your hand, okay? That stays, and this might be the hardest thing, because now, if you guys just watch me, I'm going to access all the corners of my wrist. I messed up this wrist snowboarding when I was young, and this just never feels good. And we're going all around. When you come up, you're still staying splayed. This is the hard part. You're going to naturally want to close your hand when you come back. Stay splayed open so that it's really just about this joint going through all of it side to side, front to back, and then creating a circle, okay? I want you guys to do 3 very slow and aggressively open circles to the left and then to the right. Do it with you, might as well. Stay splayed open with the fingertips. Really get in control with those tissues. You'll feel a lot of stuff happening on these muscles. Okay? Yep, good. So as you guys are going through this, you're looking good. Nice and slow. Keep those fingers splayed at the top. That's really hard to do. Good. If you're making nasty faces, you're doing a great job. And then switch to the other side, same thing. If If you think about like general workout movement patterns, there's very few exercises, if any, that we ever do that are working on active wrist extension, using the top of the forearm to actively pull the wrist back. The only time we ever get in those positions is when we're just passively putting ourselves in it, right? Like hands on the ground, plank, push up, handstand push up, bench press, like whatever. It's always just, they're victims. But when do we ever like actively work on the strength of the top of the forearm? Not often. So doing this when you're feeling any kind of like elbow issues or wrist issues is really helpful, because all you're doing is creating more balance between the strength of this and the strength of this. That push pull.
Like every now and then you see the thing like that.
Yes, yes. I should start including those because they're really beneficial. Yeah.
I basically I only do them when it's like, you see them randomly out and it's like, oh, I'll do that today.
Yeah, totally. You totally should. Maybe I'll start putting those in. It's just equipment wise, it's hard to find those things. Okay, beautiful. We went through the wrist cars. Let's go through one hip car per side. Okay. We haven't done this in quite a while, so you guys can follow along with me on this. Let's side lie on our left side. Okay. Left side lying. What I want you to do is take your left arm, reach it out so that it's perfectly perpendicular to your spine. Reach it straight out horizontally, okay? Create a fist. With that fist, stiff arm, take the top hand, and you're gonna pull back on that stiff arm, so you're creating opposing tension. Bottom arm is punching out, top arm is pulling back. It doesn't have to be like a world-class effort. It's just creating some tension so you guys are stiff and rigid in the body, okay? Leg is straight. I am against a wall. You can see this with a straight leg. You don't have to be, but it helps me think about not have to think about keeping that leg straight. If you're not against the wall, it's all good. Just keep that leg straight, stay on your side, okay? Top leg, right leg is gonna go knee to chest, as high as you can without cheating. That's really important. Think about the hip joint, that ball and socket. Open it up to the sky as much as you can slowly, okay? Start thinking about keeping your knee there and rotating your ankle back. For me, I've got to move down a bit to keep the glute muscles engaged and not cheat. I'm rotating into internal rotation, reaching behind me with my heel, and then I'm just letting that come down. I'm feeling my hamstring in my butt, and then I'm just closing it by extending my knee. Okay, we'll go the other direction. Your legs are stacked and straight. Pull your top leg heel to butt, so you're bending the knee. Knees stay together. You should feel hamstring and glute. Kick back a little bit and start to open up as if to reach your knee up and over an object. Start to rotate that heel towards where your hands are pointing, and you should start to come down to the ground, knee to chest, and close it. Okay, I'm gonna watch you. That's a very difficult one to describe without using joint actions. So let's make sure we're doing this well. Same side, same side. Let's go one more. Okay,
I got a hamstring cramp.
What's that, Kev?
I got a hamstring cramp on the way up.
Good. So really, when in doubt, try to fire your hamstrings and your glute muscles, okay, as you move through this. And if you guys can envision your actual hip ball and socket joint, that's what we're trying to floss through and move around, right? Think about that femur, that bone rolling around inside the socket. If you're starting to feel stuff happening, bending and twisting in the side body, in your abs and your obliques, let's try to make the focus a little bit more about the butt and hip muscles instead, okay? Other side, same thing. 2, so you're going front to back, back to front. We missed our spinal rotisserie. Front to back, back to front. Good. Very nice. Slowly and controlled. Good, especially through those portions where you want to speed up. Slow down a little bit. Good, just 2. Nice work. Okay. How the body's feeling? A little more loose, a little more open?
Yeah.
Good. All right. We have time to do this. So let's quickly go through the spinal rotisserie, okay? We're doing 20 of each. You guys actually just follow along with me. Just have a seat. This is pretty much the easiest thing ever. A nice way to just go through segmentation of spinal rotation, okay? So we're gonna start with the neck. You guys are just staying straight forward with the body and just looking left, looking right, 20 times. So 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and do this with me. You're just looking all the way over the left shoulder, all the way over the right shoulder, keeping yourself on rotisserie. It's only left to right rotation, okay? Good, so shoulders and torso are fixed, just like somebody's grabbing your head and rotating it left, rotating it right. Left and right 20 times. You can move through the center a little quicker and take your time when you're over towards the corners where it's kind of sticky. Nice job. Good. After those 20, you're going to place your hands across your shoulders. You're going to keep your gaze forward. And now you're only going to move your torso. So your head stays fixed and you're rotating your rib cage. Best way to do this is to go hands on the shoulders and think about where your elbows are pointing. Just keep them down, but then point to the left, point to the right, 20 times. Head stays fixed. A little creepy when you're staring right at the camera. So 20 times with this, okay? You guys don't have to move too slowly. Once you feel like you understand it, you've controlled it, go for it. Does help if you guys can see yourself in the camera to kind of find a place where you're staying fixed and try not to like move around, right? So stay right there. Oop. Okay, 20 times. Then we'll go rested and we'll move it all. So elbows and head. Looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right. Okay? Move everything left to right 20 times. Good. 20 times, left, right, left, right. I'll fix you on the next one. Keep going. Keep going. So after you've done those 20, this is full, everything, right? You're just arrested position, look left, look right, look left, look right. Head and torso are moving together. Let's go back again, hands across the chest. And then Jeff, this is where I want to fix you. Head stays fixed. Nose doesn't move at all, just torso. Yeah, go for it, 20 times. So we're dissociating head and rib cage, right? Rotation from the rib cage only, rotation from the head only, rotation with both. This one is rib cage only, 20 times. Now we've already done it. You guys can move a little quicker through it. And then we'll stop and we'll do our 20 neck. Sweet. Good. 20 times, just the neck to finish it off.
What is the muscle that pulls your trunk around like that?
Good question. It's not the muscle. There's a lot going on in there.
That's what I thought.
Yep. So internal and external oblique work together. On one side, it pushes. The other side, it pulls. Okay. You've got the lat and the pec involved in this rotation. And then you've got so many other things happening inside the core that honestly, I couldn't even tell you, but it's a lot. It's a whole kind of combo of things. I'm assuming you're asking to try to get better at it, or what's the desired knowledge?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, thinking about which muscles are turning on, right? Because, your elbow, that makes sense, right? It's like here's your little hinge, and then there's like a couple muscles around here that push and pull. But this is like a big
complex.
piece of bone with like, you know, muscles around. So it's like, what's
Yes, for sure. A lot of people will actually have better rotation to their dominant side and less to their non-dominant. It has to do with pec being tight, lat being tight. So that kind of restricts movement. It's a little different what does the movement and what restricts the movement. And a lot of people just need to release the restriction rather than increase the action. If that makes sense.
yeah.
Cool. That's another one where it's like, think about programming. How often are we like dissociating this stuff and loading it up and rotating? There's a lot with fitness that develops all the time. And like, if you guys start paying attention to other people and different modalities and whatever else, there's a lot of people who are like, we should start training, like instead of loading a deadlift with a neutral spine, we should start loading up the Jefferson curls and round and extend and flex and do all this crazy stuff. But anyway, for another time, let's start where we're at. All right, so 15 minutes of this. We're gonna go scorpion, dead bug, inchworm with reach, or stance with slow pulse, and that KOHD lunge, okay? All right, so scorpion, we're just gonna run through them really quickly right now. So scorpion is lying down, arms out to the side, okay? One hand comes in, same leg reaches up and over, rotates into hip stretch, back stretch, and then primarily this shoulder and chest stretch if we can think about it. Some of you will find that you have to make a little bit different position with your arm to actually get that stretch. A little higher up is gonna make that harder. So if you reach more to a Y than a T, that's gonna be a lot harder. If you're super open, you can go into like a field goal position with that hand, but oh God, that's horrible. Chris, you might be able to do that. You've got good shoulders. Okay, that's our scorpion, okay? Go ahead and just give me 2 scorpions. Make sure you know it, make sure you have the right space. You can get right into it. Nice. That's perfect that, Chris, you can do that because you don't have much space to reach out, so it's great. Good. Okay, dead bugs, you guys know it. Flip to your back. We're going arms straight up, knees bent, and we're just gonna do contralateral. So if the left arm is reaching open, the right leg is reaching open, and then we'll switch. Right arm, left leg. Just go ahead and give me 2. Make sure you guys understand this. One thing I wanna challenge you all to do today to progress this, keep your knees bent just so we're not having to take the hamstring tension into it. But think about that spinal position I talked about last time. I think it was last time. Remember that small curve in the low back should actually remain. If you can, don't crush your low back into the ground and round it, keep it, right? So just to be clear, when you're in that position, it's really easy to feel your abs engage and everything when you bring your knees up and you kind of crunch down into the floor. And now I have pressure under here. I can't get my hand in between versus me being in a neutral position and I have a small gap in my low back. Trying to maintain that small gap is actually going to be harder, but it's going to challenge our core in the actual neutral position rather than a rounded position. Doesn't really matter. Just think about that when you go through it, play with it. Inchworm with reach, go to downward dog. I'll explain this to you from there. Down dog, hands and feet, hips up high. To find your proper down dog, go to plank and then just raise your hips up. Don't walk your feet in closer. So natural plank, don't move your hands or feet and just kick back to that down dog. Perfect. Take a tiny, I mean tiny, step forward with your left foot and a tiny step forward with your right hand. Now reach your left hand through towards your right foot. Breathe into it. That should be a nasty calf stretch, especially if you keep your heel on the ground there. And then you'll switch to the other one, okay? So you just offset your feet and hands and you reach through. Does everyone understand that? Perfect. All right, cool. That's your inchworm with reach. You guys are basically just gonna play with all these shapes for 40 seconds. You can work as hard or as easy as you want, but focus on the breath, focus on stretching and opening, lengthening all these tissues. Horse stance with a slow pulse. Go ahead and stand up, join me. We can do this together, it's very easy. You're gonna go as wide as you can, like a Cossack with your feet out. Okay, so feet turned out. Come down into a deep, oh my God, my hips are so angry. A deep position. Think about externally rotating, so driving the knees out more. Nice, Chris, that's awesome. All of you doing great. Try to keep your torso tall. I'd rather you be tall torso here than for you to get deeper and hinge into it. So stay up tall, chest up, okay? And then from here, we're kind of pulsing around. We can go left to right to open up those tissues. We can go up and down. We can do a combination, okay? You can even start to go through hip circles. Whatever feels right for you, 40 seconds. You're just trying to get strong and feel better in these positions. Whew. I did not know my hips were that mad until right now. Okay, and then knee over toe lunge. This is the 9-second eccentric. I will count you through it. But remember, we're just going to a very wide stance with a tall torso. This is the number one thing people mess up. Keep that torso tall. As you move, we're trying to keep this back leg as straight as we can and move this knee as far over the toes as possible, even if that means we have to bring our heel up off the ground. We're getting this huge stretch, holding, and then coming back up, okay? So just come into that position, try to find it real quick before we start it. Good. Come down as deep as you can. Back leg is straight, torso is tall. Okay, perfect. Come up, and then we'll switch to the other side. Try to keep everything in line. Notice the rotation that wants to happen. Try to mitigate that rotation. Go ahead. That's much better, Jeff. Good. Okay, beautiful. All right, so we'll move through those. I hate to do this, but I'm actually gonna have you guys just go through this whole thing twice, and then we're gonna go for our yin. I really wanna prioritize the yin. Okay, let's do it. 2 rounds of this. I'll set a timer. We're working for 40 seconds. You're working, as hard as you want. It's not a big deal. We're really just trying to access more range of motion, better control, focus on the breathing, okay? Scorpions to start. We're gonna move for 40 seconds. You can play with hanging out in the stretch, or you can move quicker, or a combination of both. 3, 2, 1, scorpions. Here we go. Good. Change hand positions to feel more of the bicep, shoulder, chest stretch. Open up that knee to sky. Feel a little bit of that low back. Jeff, let's slow it down a little bit and find a deep stretch on every side. So open, get that foot planted, that knee up, push into that hand. Ten more seconds. Three, 2, 1. All right, dead bugs are next, so just flip to your back. Remember, knees are bent for today's dead bugs. I don't want straight legs. And I want you to just think about the spinal position. You don't have to keep that low back gap, but if you can, go for it. And if you can't, crush that thing. Let's get the abs going. Here we go. Alternating right arm, left leg, then come up. You're on. Beautiful. The intention here is to get as open as possible through the limbs without any movement in the torso. Your arm and leg are going to feel like they're going to pull your torso to a different position. You're resisting that pull by keeping a nice strong pressure in your torso. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Flipping. We're going into that inchworm with a reach. Okay. Remember, just find downward dog and then a slight offset of the foot and hand, reaching through. Okay. 3, 2, up to downward dog. 1. Step the left forward. Yep. Either one. You guys know it. A little offset of both hand and foot and then reaching through. Hold that reach for a little longer. It should feel like a huge hamstring stretch and a huge calf stretch as well as you push with that one arm and reach through. Focus on your breathing, pressing that hand into the ground, almost shrugging the shoulder up into the head. 10 more seconds. Stay with this. Locking the arm, really reaching through, tiny offset step. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Okay, awesome. Standing up, we're going to this horse stance. You guys are staying in the deep horse for 40 seconds. Your movement is as you please. Up, down, left, right, combination, rotation, whatever. Just keep a tall torso. 3, 2, 1. Imagine grabbing the thighs and wrapping them, rotating them open and out. So you're pointing your knees out as far as you can left to right. Your toes out as far as you can left to right. Sinking as deep as you can with a tall torso. Less movement is probably better if you're feeling stiff. Just root yourself into the ground and just try to melt and sink a little bit more. Chris, you're nice and open, so play with movement. Good. Jeff, see if we can just go centimeters lower and just driving those knees out a tiny bit more, not the feet, just the knees. You'll feel more tension in there, sinking into it. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out of it, standing straight up. Very nice. All right, knee over toe, lunge. Priority, back leg as straight as it can be. Squeeze that butt cheek. Keep the torso tall. Ready, set. Here we go, we're gonna move into it together. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, as deep as you can. 2, as tall as you can. 1, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, come back up. Good, switching sides. Squeeze the glute of that back leg to try to keep it as straight as you can. Tall torso, knee driving over the toe. 9, 8, 7, pushing into that back leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, coming out of it. All right, beautiful, nice work. It was a little longer than I wanted, so flip it down. Scorpions in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Find that chest stretch. Good. Use the planted push-up style hand to push you into more rotation. Get that knee up to the sky as you plant the foot on the floor. Ten seconds. Three, 2, 1. Awesome. Dead bugs, flipping over. Focus on a strong core as you reach the opposite limbs. It should almost feel like your core is staying braced as you go through a stretch up and down. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Good, opening all the way up, keeping that core pressure and tension. Good. Pay attention to that low back. See if you can get to the neutral spine, that little gap between you and the floor. If you can't, crush it, or maybe go through both and see what the difference is. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Beautiful. Inchworm with reach, real quick. When you guys are in this, try your best to get to, you can even come closer this time with your feet rather than that plank thing I was talking about. Come closer. Try to get the heel down as you step through so that we're really getting into the calf. Okay? Here we go. Find that position. 3, 2, 1. You can get a little closer than you were before to try to keep that foot planted. Good. Yeah, beautiful. Hang for a moment, breathe, really open it up. It should feel kind of horrible, but kind of awesome at the same time. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right, horse. Let's see if we can get a little deeper, a little wider. All that strength around the hips, in the groin, okay? If you're having trouble getting your knees out, let's not cheat it with too much of the toes out. Let's just go to like 45-degree angle with the toes and then go from there with the knees. So we get more rotation. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Started you a little late. Get as deep as you can, get as open as you can. Deep into it. Beautiful. Good. Think about a tall torso. That's a progression there. As the taller the torso, the better. Kind of tuck in the pelvis as you wrap the knees out. That external rotation from the hips. See if we can sink a little deeper, press a little more tension. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, and our last knees over toes lunge. Same idea. Trying to get that knee as far over the toes as possible with a tall torso and as straight of a back leg as we can. It's okay if it starts to bend a little bit. Here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up. Should feel a big stretch on the front of that back leg, okay? Other side, same thing. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, nicely done. Good stuff. Should feel nice and open in the hips, or at least like they've been worked a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good, perfect. All right, beautiful. Lizard position, okay? It's essentially kind of like that knee over toe split. We're just getting into a passive position here, okay? We're gonna hold this for 90 seconds per side. So join me. Remember, I know I really feel like a broken record when I talk about the yin stuff, but if you do this half-ass, it's not gonna do anything for you. If you really lean into the points of performance, this can change your mobility massively, okay? So what I'm doing is and this goes for all of the yin, all of the like post-workout stretches. The whole purpose is to find the point, the threshold of discomfort where this is not comfortable, but I'm not like, oh, really, really dramatically trying to stretch. I'm just naturally at kind of my limit. And the way you'll know if you're there is if this is slightly uncomfortable, but it's not so uncomfortable that I'm like, okay, fuck this, I'm done, right? It's kind of teetering on the edge of like, I don't love this, but I can stay here, especially if I focus on my breath, okay? So you guys are in it. Timer's already going. We'll do another 60 seconds. Focus on a longer exhale than your inhale. So if you inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. If you inhale for 6, exhale for 8, okay? And just relax. After about 60 seconds, you should feel your body just go, ah, and you'll go deeper into this, okay? If this doesn't feel like enough of a stretch, the progressed versions are essentially coming, I'm too tight right now to show you realistically, but it's coming down to the forearms and getting deeper into that kind of groin split position, okay? All right, let's slowly come out of that position. If you got deep enough into it, you should have to go slowly because you've accessed some new stuff. If you can move out of it quickly, that's another tell you didn't do it properly, right? If you got deep enough, your body should be like, whoa, bro, slow down, okay? Other side, same thing. Just trying to get that threshold position of, okay, this is uncomfortable, not the worst thing ever. You guys will feel hamstring, groin on the front leg, maybe even some glute. and then hip flexor, front of the quad type area on the back leg. All of that is fine. And some of you might feel more in one versus the other. And for me right now, I feel more in the hamstring on this side than I did on the other one, just from different things being tight, right? Totally normal. Long exhales. You guys can very slowly come out of that side as well. Okay. I'm gonna have to cut us, but my real desire was to get you guys really clear on what I want out of those yin stretches, okay? You guys feel like you get that? Totally makes sense. Okay, sweet. I've said this also before, and you know, for any of you that want range of motion increases, I would do some prep work before. I'd work out, hard workouts, CrossFit workouts, whatever, and then afterwards I'd pick like 3 positions like this, hang out for about 2 minutes per side. And after like 2 weeks, I went from having like pain in my squat, not being able to go very low, to just like beautiful butt on my heels, no pain squats, right? Just because I've got all those tissues opened up. It doesn't take long, but just a reminder, don't do it before you work out, do it after, right? Because you're susceptible to injury. You've opened up this new space that you don't own. But if you just do it after and then you go about your day and you're walking and whatever else, now your body's like, okay, we're okay with this. That's fine. If you do it beforehand, go into a deeper position, loaded, dangerous. Okay. Sweet. Thank you guys for joining live. Thank you for participating in all my questions and everything else. As always, let me know how I can better support you, how things are going. Yeah?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So would you suggest going on a walk now?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, you'll feel nice.
Yeah.
I will take that advice.
Good. All right, friends, have a great weekend. I will see you next week.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.